All right, what's up, gentlemen? So, basically, what I'm doing right now is I am going to show you. That's my chair. I'm gonna show you how to defend. So I thought I'd put together a little video for you guys to help you out. So basically, to get things started off, um, we're gonna start with basics of one-on-one defending, and then we'll do team defending. One-on-one defending is super important. Knowing how to brawl and making sure that you know how to actually handle situations where, let's say, they're up here, and they're trying to make a shot on goal from here, and they're trying to jump in, or let's say they're down on boot, and they're trying to make shots from boot, or even they're over on post, and they're trying to make the run in from post. So basically, the job of the goalie is to cover these, if they make an anchor from here, obviously I can't save every single one if they're coming in at 19 meters a second, but if someone gets back or they get the chance where they juke out the defender and they run at me, that's where we start causing issues, okay? So the first thing to start off is when you're one-on-one-ing someone, like let's say they're here with the disc, and they're getting ready to send it around, right? You want to be very patient. You never want to just push them. So I have my blocks here, right? I'm on my block, okay? And the person with the disc, they'll be right over there where that disc just flew, right? The worst thing you can do is, if someone's in this situation, is push them hard and commit. Like if they're sitting here and they watch you commit on them, what they're gonna do is they're literally just gonna go like this, and they're gonna rush at the goalie, and it's not, because that's when issues start coming through. The best thing you can do is, if you're trying to cover that mid, sit on this block here, this blue block, and you play it up, so that way when you see them going to make their throw, right, it's fine. Just jump out of the way. If you see them going to make a throw, jump out of the way, cover the pass, whatever, right? But if you see them start to jump off like this, where they're going to start attacking, that's when you play up. Like, let's say they're over there on the other side of the shield. You can literally push them. You can push them over here, right? And from this block, you can push them, and you can stun them out while they're making their way in. Now, another thing I saw was when they're making their approach on, you guys are either up way too high or you're way too low. So that way, all they have to do is either duck or jump to get to you, right? And that's the worst thing that can happen. So what you want to do is, in the best moment possible, jump off and come straight at them. Do not go above them. Do not go below them. If anything, below them is probably better than above them, because if you launch above them, they're just going to duck below you. So you have to watch for that. You jump at them, and if they start to duck, what do? You duck too. You point your boosters at the floor, you duck, and you make sure that if they're going to duck, you're going to be able to grab onto them and stun them out. If they just come straight at me, boom, punch them in the face. Right, the next thing we're going to learn, which is a basic that I was taught as a goalie when I started learning from an actual diamond player, is called the stun and grab. So your disc is going out, right? They're coming at you, so the disc is coming in, right? And let's say their head's next to the disc. What you want to do is you want to come in, you want to stun them and mirror their hand with your other hand. Same thing, if you get too close up on them, like let's say they're here and they're juking around like this, and you know they're going to make the shot, the best thing you can do is mirror their right hand with your left hand. So like if they're going like this, you should be going like this with your left hand. So that way you're always ready for the stun and grab. Because even if you miss the grab, if you hit the stun, the disc just ends up going flying like this. Like if they're trying to juke you, the disc just ends up going up like that, and it leaves the area, and that disorients their team every time you do that. So the best thing you could do is practice the stun and grab, jump out at them, stun them, grab the disc, and fucking run with it. That's 90% of the saves I make in pubs when I'm not playing goalie and I'm as a midfielder. That's 90% of how I make them, is by using the stun and grab. Now, another thing is down here, when you're down on the bottom block here, if they're over here, right, and they're coming around, they're going like this. This is, I find, one of the best ways to beat defenders is kind of circling around, watching where they're going and playing it, and then as soon as they commit, like let's say they go like that where the disc is going, you jump out here and you score the goal. And that's something that you absolutely do not want at all costs. If they do that to you, you've just gotten, like, your ankle is destroyed, and now your goalie is completely open for the shot. So whatever happens, you hold steady on this with both hands. You want to put both hands on the block, right? Block, and you kind of follow them like this. Watch them, mirror what they're doing, kind of follow where they're going, and they're going to make a mess up eventually when they realize you're not going to push them. Well, they're going to start pushing here, and you're in the perfect position right now to jump up at them, grab them, and stun them. And you can even try the stun and grab with them. So yeah, once again, you're on this side of the geo, they're on that side of the geo. It's different for that one because that one's thin and you can pass through it. But with this one, they're juking, you're following, they commit, boom, you run at them, you grab them, you stun them, you do whatever. And that's the best way to get it. So, same thing with the floor jukes, right? Let's say someone's down here and they're floor juking, and let's say it's like over there and not here. This is just where I have the camera pointed. So here, I'll play it right here. So let's say they're floor juking, right? They're going around, they're staying close to the ground like they should be. You should be mirroring them. Like whatever they do, like if they jump, let's say they jump this way, you should also be jumping this way with them. But you should never have both your hands off the ground at the same time. So you should always have one. You should always be crawling along the ground, kind of playing around them, figuring out where they're going, and as soon as they commit, boom, you grab onto them, you stun them, and you take the disc. And even so, if they're juking around like this, you match them. You play this, you play your hand, you're waving it around like they are, and boom, they try and throw it, your hand's in the way, you catch it. It goes back with the stun and grab, but instead you're kind of just mirroring them. If anything, if you want to take away anything from this portion, it's that mirroring their right hand with your left hand, or their left hand with your right hand, whichever hand has the disc, you mirror it, you're gonna probably make a steal. So once again, that's the best thing you could do, is make your grab and try to use your wingspan to your advantage. If you don't have it, you could still mirror their hand. There's no difference. You mirror their hand, right, and you grab the grab when they bring it down into your wingspan, right? And that's how it's done. So that's the basics of defending one-on-one. Pretty much, you just want to be patient and let them come to you. If you're down, like let's say it's like 10-2 and there's like 3 minutes left on the clock, you can't play that. Like, it's gonna harm you and it's very risky, but you can't play like that anymore. You just have to get with a stack and run at the guy. Your bubble defense is pretty much destroyed at that point. But let's say you're not down, that's your best option, is to juke around, let them come to you, let them play it, and don't get drawn out. If they're coming back and they're only like 2 points up even. If they're only like 2 points up even and they're down the field over there, right? Like they're somewhere just over there, right? Don't let them draw you out. Sit here, play your lane, you know? But most of the time, if there's someone in the bubble, you should be on them covering. Okay? So another important thing I'm going to talk about is the team defending. Now, team defending's a little bit different from just defending solo, because you need to be working together with your team. You need to pay attention to everyone on the field. So let's get rid of this for a second. Let's say there's someone here at post, right? And then there's someone across the field over here at this block. Right? You know, they're over here. They're just playing up here, doing their thing, chilling, right? So basically, you want to have one person in this lane, one person in this lane, or up here in this lane, right? So you have two people on each lane, and then the last guy, which would be the midfielder, his job is the most important job. Is he should be looking around for a pass. So let's say there's someone down here, right? There's someone down. He should be looking for that. He should be getting in the way of the pass, not trying to just cover the guy, but kind of block the passing option. So like, let's say the disc is up there, right, somewhere, or let's say it's from post down to cross floor. He should be right here. He should be watching the disc, turning around, looking for his man, watching the disc, turning around, looking for his man, trying to get in the way, and even playing back to the man, just kind of following him around and making sure that he can't get anywhere with it, right? It doesn't work as well when they're so close together, but like if someone's down on field and they're packed behind, right, and you're playing right here, let's say the enemy's playing back here. One of the enemies is down here. One of the enemies is up at pack, right? So if you put yourself on the boot here, right, then they can't get that cross pass. But you have to pay attention to the guy behind you. You have to watch if they move back over to where, let's say that 3 is. You have to watch that. You have to make sure that they don't have an open lane. And this is the midfielder's job, is watching the passing options while the two guys on the wings are covered. Those are their strikers. Strikers cover strikers. The midfield should cover the midfielder. However, the most important part of this defense, this is a zone defense, and the most important part of it is if the defense break, right? Let's say there's multiple people on this side. There's one here, and then there's one here, right? And then the disc is coming from behind the camera, let's say, right? So the disc is coming from behind the camera, and then there's one on boot, one up here, right? The midfielder should take the time to shift over to the nearest guy, which would be below him, or if that guy's covered, the midfielder can even shift to the guy on post, right? So that's the most important part of this defense, and not letting it fall apart is having the disc holder, keeping him out at bay, so he's, away. He's away from the goal, right? While the other 3 are trying to push up, you're covering them, right? So now, what does the disc holder have to do? He has to push you, right? His teammates they're going to try and move around. They're going to try and get open. They're going to try and just play wherever they can to get a pass. They may go up, they may go down, they may go around the field. They may even play back here on the clock. You know what I mean? So the best thing you could do is wait till the last possible second. And let's say he's pushing down, he's pushing right above here, right? He's pushing he's trying to push this lane because he's got pack, right? This guy who's here or that guy who's down there, either one should call out, I got disc, and they should run at the guy at the very last second he's coming in. He's coming in right here. He's here, right? And then this guy jumps off the post and stuns him. Try the stun and grab like I taught before. And that is the most important part of this defense, is the fact that everyone's watching, looking for the enemy players, playing on them, making sure that they don't have a pass. Like they don't have a passing option. And then this guy, the guy who's out with the disc on Pac-Man, let's say he's out on Pac-Man, he doesn't have a chance to rush in and get the goalie. So let's try this again. Let's say, right, they're on bow tie. They're rushing in right here. Okay? So they're playing in. They're playing in, right? They make it right? Now this guy should obviously shift off, stun the disc holder. If the disc holder is too close to a pass, he's probably not going to try and make the pass. And that's the point I'm trying to make here, is you're trying to force an error by rushing at the disc holder at the last possible second when he thinks he's free to rush in at the goalie. When he runs out of passing options, which is going to be you 3 covering, he's going to try and rush the goalie. That's what he's going to try and do. So in a bubble defense, None of you, absolutely none of you. They can have 3 players down the field, right? If we're in a bubble defense, absolutely none of you should be outside of the bubble. You should be sitting here, or up there, or down there, or over here, and just waiting and watching for each man to come up the field. If there are 2 of them on this side, one's on the back line, and one of them's over there, right? 2 of you, you should have one here, and one on this. Not exactly here. I was gonna say on shield, so you guys can't see. You guys actually can't see the post very well. But that's the whole point. Is like one on the post, one on that post, and one on shield. That way, even if none of them are in the bubble, they don't get a chance to push into the bubble without you guys seeing them. Or let's say one of them's in the bubble, 2 of them are out of the bubble, and one of them's out of the bubble on the back line. The midfielder would play like this guy. This guy's down here, trying to be a dickhead onto the goalie, you know? So he can sit here, take a pass, and then throw it out, right? The best thing you can do is have the midfield cover him and those 2 sitting idly until either someone else pushes around or into the bubble, or if someone decides, or the disc holder decides to push into the bubble. Because if the disc holder pushes in front of his teammates, what you do is you shift, take out the disc holder, take the disc, if you can. If he passes it back, whatever, stay in your spot. But if he doesn't, take the disc and you clear. So the whole premise of this is staying in your spot until either A, you need to cover someone, or B, until the disc holder starts to push, and you take the last second to try and stun him out while he's running in at you. And that is pretty much the basics of how to do bubble defense as a team. You should really be working together, communicating. The goalie will tell you where they're coming from. You guys need to watch where they're going, pay attention. This guy should be attentive to anyone on this side, or if there's no one on this side at all, then he should shift over here and those 2 can go over there, right? The last tip I can give is to count your players on the field. You want to count how many enemies are in front of you, because if you only see 3, there's probably either one hiding or there's one below you. And you do not want to let them stay below you. It doesn't matter if they're hiding on the back line, whatever. You clear it, they pick it up, whatever. Because they're never going to get it in past your defense if they keep the person on the back line. So you want to draw them into the bubble. That's the whole point of this, is to draw them in, and they're trying to draw you out. So you cannot let them get drawn. You cannot let them draw you out. You have to draw them into the bubble. So that way the disc pushes up, count the men. Let's say there's 1, 2, and then there's 3 over there. And you don't know if someone's on that back line, whatever, look behind you. There might be some sitting below the goalie, which is the worst possible thing that can happen. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I mean, stay on your side, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. If you're the midfielder, stay on the midfielder. If you're the left striker, stay on the left side, blah, 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 whatever, right? And then shift around and adjust as the players come in, and never, ever, ever leave the bubble unless we are down. If we are down, you leave the bubble. You find the 2 strikers should find their stack, and they should stack to the disc and just immediately pressure. But if you guys, this is the zone defense. It's a little bit different from the stack defense. But if you're too afraid to get the stack going and you don't want to leave it open, and you're not down by a lot, you can totally play this, draw them in. They're going to get bored. If they're an average team, or even if they're good, they might just be impatient. They might get bored. They might play into you. They might not be playing the back line very hard, right? So if you're not down by much, you just draw them in. You want them to come in. You can even draw yourself out like this, and when they start pushing up, you come right back in. And that's pretty much it. That's the basics. All right. So I just wanted to say I'd like to thank you guys for watching the video. I really hope this helped you or your team. Your defense are a very important part of the game. I just want to let you know that this defense is very hard to learn. You have to have good communication. So good luck with it, and good luck in VRML.